You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Vanderpump Rules After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Vanderpump Rules After Show.
Yay! Hi, yay!
I like the picture of us on your phone.
Oh, that's you! Yeah!
Shay. Bing is for doing, and welcome to the AfterBuzz TV After Show for Vanderpump Rules, Season 1, Episode 5. I'm not a bitch, but I am your bitch. I'm Jake Dupree.
And I'm Danica Kennedy.
I'm Kristina Zias.
And I'm Michelle Renee.
With our very, very special guest, welcoming back to our little clubhouse, Miss Scheana Marie. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Her boyfriend, Mike Shay. How you doing?
Doing great.
And the incomparable Tina McDowelle. Hey, girl, with her afro. I love it. So let's just get started off talking about this damn episode. We have Miss Lisa's fairy tale wonderland house that magically is just decorated to perfection. I don't know. Does she keep a staff that keeps her house looking that good? Y'all can enlighten us on that.
Definitely.
I mean, there's like pink swags hanging from the tree, roses. I'm just like, okay, Alice in
Her
Wonderland.
name is actually Rosia, too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that decorates the house?
Yeah.
All right.
Roses with Rosia.
I don't think that probably was really planned out, too, from Lisa's part.
Right.
And Lisa is having a tea party. Flashback to the Taylor Armstrong, Taylor is beaten by her husband tea party. Michelle knows what I'm talking about.
You don't have to be my friend. Just please don't be my enemy.
And then Camille's line, that is not cool.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Flashback. And then Peter and Jax are there, and Peter, you as you all know, he is my boo. That's my boo. I love him.
We all love Peter.
We all love Peter.
I love Peter. Peter's awesome.
Mike even loves Peter.
I love Peter.
Yeah.
He's just
great.
lovable. And Tina, I want to flash back to his birthday at the mixology.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was so funny seeing clips of all these girls like flying onto him and just like holding on for dear life. And I was like, all these girls want to get it with Peter. We got some competition.
Oh, are you saying
I saw you getting up on I saw you getting up on there. I saw it.
He's just so huggable. That's all it is. You just
the
want to
love.
hold him.
It's
Yeah.
the love. That's all it is.
He's like he's Gaston from Beauty and the Beast.
He is.
Yeah.
The ponytail, body.
Yeah.
He's got
Perfect.
swag for days.
Sweetie.
All right, so we'll get to Peter, but first of all, let's go to Jax and Lisa talking about Jax's issues and how he's really upset. What do you guys think about those tears?
Crocodile tears. Especially when 5 minutes later we flashed to him getting it on with, well, not getting it on. We didn't see that. We didn't see that part.
Fast.
But yeah, I just thought it was fake. I mean, when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, that's sad. He's really affected by this. But then in the context of the rest of the episode, it's BS.
I was thinking Jax looks better as the season goes on. And that's all I have to say about that.
Your mind's on.
And I mean, do you think that maybe there's just like this sick, weird connection between Stassi and Jax that he's actually sad? Because I don't know. I feel like he's not the guy that would be super emotional all the time, but for some reason she brings on the waterworks anytime they talk.
I think he's sad because he knows he'll never get better.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Straight up.
Shade tree, shade tree.
I think that his ego is probably bruised too. I mean, it stinks. I can't imagine breaking up with someone after 2 years.
Yeah.
How can you not be a little bit sad,
Yeah.
And then especially when she's rubbing another relationship in your face. It's gotta.
Well, they
it's gotta
probably have huge jealousy issues, especially because they're dating within the same workplace. It's like, not only did you go through a horrible breakup, it's like you have to see them with someone else every day. That would be horrible for anyone, I think.
That'd be really hard.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he is in love with Stassi. I think they're addicted to each other. I think that's what it is. And also, I want to say that you can't fault them for falling in love with other people quickly. I think that a lot of us in LA have the same symptom. We do it all. And just because you're only in love for a week or month or whatever, it doesn't mean you're not in love. I think you could be in love for a week or 2 weeks.
Aww.
I know I have.
What a true romantic.
I know,
like
bringing the, I like this like glow to AfterBuzz TV. I like it. And then of course we find out that Lisa is organizing the now infamous staff meeting. We'll get there, don't worry. Next scene we have Stassi with her mom, Dana. Hey, Dana.
I will say, I text Stassi when I watched the episode, and I said, your mom is really hot.
She's such a we all thought that.
I wrote it down.
Right after that, I was like, I told her, and I texted her, I said, tell her I said, what's up? Honestly, I didn't tell her that, but she just laughed.
Everybody's mom looks so young. Your mom looks really young.
I tell her too every day. I told your mom she's hot.
I know. He tells her that all the time. He's into older women. He thinks the cast of Private Practice is hotter than the cast of 90210.
Oh.
I think
experience.
I have a huge crush on older women.
I love it.
That's okay. That's refreshing.
So in 20 years, he'll be happy.
Exactly.
Just 20 more years and we'll be good.
One statement that Stassi said about her mom that terrifies me a little bit. She said, my mom and I are exactly alike. We're both dramatic, we're sensitive, and we're little princesses. I'm like, I don't want to mess with either one of you. If I saw you walking down the street, I would like turn the other way.
Their poor dad, like her poor dad, he must just like sit there and like write the checks for whatever they want.
I want to go back and watch their Amazing Race episodes because I could only imagine what that family was like.
Oh, I watched them. I remember back in the day whenever that was on, and they were all not very nice to each other.
I could imagine.
Just bringing it back. I'm sorry.
I hope they don't have daggers around.
And Stassi, it's a popular term for her. Stassi begins to fill her mom in on Vegas, and she says Jax was a dumbass and he freaking showed up at my birthday. And then she tells her, and then her mom is appalled because Frank is staying in the same room as Stassi. So I'm guessing they don't share that, she's seeing anybody new. But I guess from what it turns out, Frank is semi-new to the whole Stassi relationship thing. So I don't know. I think it was really funny that her mom was like appalled that they were staying in the same room together.
She was like, Stassi.
Yeah, ashamed.
I loved everything about that mom. She's so funny.
That hair, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
but what you're giving me some face. Do this.
Am I?
Yeah, do it. What are you thinking about this whole relationship between those two?
The mother and daughter?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the mom. She's a MILF. Like, I wanted it.
Thank you.
I'm not even a lesbian, so I loved it.
And a question came up for me while watching, and I was like, how does it feel for a mother to be talking to her daughter, and her daughter being like, oh, my boyfriend, he screwed a porn star and got her pregnant? I mean, like, what? I don't know if I'm just not that cool. Like, I don't have that much going on, like, relationship-wise. So I don't know why. I don't know. I just don't see myself telling my mom or my dad ever being like, oh, my ex-boyfriend, he got a porn star pregnant. Like, it's just strange to me. Like, that's a weird dynamic. And her mom was just kind of like, oh, yeah, he's bad. He's really bad.
Like, oh, he's never been good for you and stuff. It's like, well, if you're going to tell your mom that, of course they're not going to approve of him.
Yeah.
Or at least my mom wouldn't. Like, I would tell her because I tell her a lot, but she would be like, no, you shouldn't date him after that, for sure.
Well, she already said, like, he's a 32-year-old guy. He has no job. He's lazy. So she already doesn't like him. And, I mean, if you're telling your mom that your ex-boyfriend banged a porn star, got pregnant, those are, like, final remarks. You cannot go back to that relationship afterwards. At least not in the Zias household.
No.
To me, it seemed like the mother wasn't very worried that Stassi would invest too much more time on him. It's like if she would have been more concerned about the situation, like, it would have made me think that she thought that Stassi and Jax actually had a chance of being serious, Like, her reaction to me made it seem like she just knows that maybe it's not that serious. What I'm trying to say is not coming out of my mouth, right?
No, I got you.
I got it.
I don't know. Her nonchalance, I guess, was not alarming to me. It just indicated that she thinks Jax is temporary. Okay, that was...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how Jax feels now hearing her mom say that she never approved of him and since they're dating. I mean, I think we can say that they're dating, right?
What?
Jax and Stassi are dating now. No?
I'm not giving anything away. Why are you looking at me for answers?
On Watch What Happens Live, they seem to be very...
We were just all there together. So does that mean I'm
Allegedly.
dating Tom because we were sitting by each other?
Oh, allegedly.
They're dating.
We heard that. Too.
Yeah. I see some
What?
I see some tweets from Jax saying things, so I think we can confirm it. But you don't say anything. This is not coming from y'all, coming from us. Coming from us.
Just you watch.
We'll see. We'll see. And then we come to Scheana heading into the studio to talk to her producers and her team with her friend Jacqueline, who was here with us the first time Scheana was here. And Tina is headlining the show at the Roxy. That's pretty amazing. That's an amazing, legendary venue in LA.
It is.
Main
It
stage,
is.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Had you performed there before? Was this your first time performing there?
I had performed upstairs, which is a smaller venue. And so when I was approached with the opportunity to perform in the main stage, because my upstairs shows had always done really well, they were like, well, let's do the big show downstairs. And I'm like, no. Yes, yes, I'll do it. And so I was a nervous wreck, and I just started talking to a bunch of people that I've known in Hollywood that are great artists. And then I knew Scheana had a new song, and I was like, Scheana, I know you've never performed before, but this could be a great way to kind of just jump in. And so that's how it happened. But,
Dive off into the deep end.
Yeah.
And you were saying, Scheana, I found this interesting that you were a little hesitant about having like a big production, and you didn't want it to keep it simpler.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've gotten so many things on Twitter. It's like, you're not Britney. I'm like, I never said I was, and that's exactly what I was trying not to do. I don't want to be Britney Spears and have 20 backup dancers and have this whole production. Like, I just wanted to focus on me, the song, have my two best friends with me to make me more comfortable. But I didn't want it to be a huge thing. I had like 3 minutes and 48 seconds on stage. I was like, let's just get through this one
Let's nail what we have. Yeah, exactly.
I thought you did great, by the way.
Thank you.
I was like, damn, that's like Pussycat Dolls.
It's so funny. My mom's like this tall from the ground, and she like weaved her way up to the front, and we have a video of Scheana performing on my computer now that my mom sent me. But it was like, she was so proud of you.
And he performed that day too.
Yes.
He also opened up.
He did. He was really good.
Did you go on after Scheana?
I did. I went
Right before.
He was
Oh,
first.
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. How many songs did you do?
I did the fireworks song that we heard.
Coming in. Oh, that's the intro. I'm sorry, I didn't even say that. That was Mike's music right on the very intro and us into the show. So yeah, we'll play a little bit more later in the show.
Well,
but
I was going to quickly say, speaking of music, I wanted to mention iTunes. If you guys are watching this right now on AfterBuzz TV or you're watching it on YouTube, know that you can also go to iTunes and type in Vanderpump Rules and subscribe to us. Make sure to give us 5 stars. That would be fabulous. And we love comments. We want to hear all of your guys' opinion, whether you agree with us, you disagree with us, you have whatever predictions you want to say. Just let us know. And also, if you check out the AfterBuzz TV website, you can check out our store, and we sell some nice mugs and t-shirts for guys and girls and bags. So
she is plugging right now. Get it.
Yes. And back to the show.
back to the cheerleader comment. I thought this was really funny when Jackie was like, "Oh, we'll be fine. We're cheerleaders. We'll put on a good show." Do cheerleaders usually? I mean, like, is that a thing? Like, where it's just like cheerleaders put on a good show?
I think she just meant we had the performance experience from growing up, so we're comfortable in front of groups of people, like at a competition. But I mean, there were no cheer moves that we used.
I know. There's nothing like.
It was crawling on the floor, and I did the splits, which you didn't get to see in the show.
I know.
I was so disappointed.
We saw a split.
Yeah.
In the
rehearsal.
Which that was really
that
badass
was really
too.
good.
I was like, wow.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mike likes it.
Yes, he does.
I was in the front, just right in the front, just like going.
Yeah.
Number one fan.
I was like, yeah, that's my.
And Scheana, what happened to the other girl with Jacqueline that was in the studio with you?
Yeah, great transition, right? So it's like
she was in the
black
studio.
and she's white.
Yeah.
Jessica was originally, I was gonna have the 3 girls behind me, but then Jessica just got really, really nervous and wasn't comfortable doing it, so I had asked Ariana to step in, who has done dancing. I mean, she was amazing. I almost regretted that because she was so much better than me. I'm like, why did I ask you to do this? Can you be in the front and I be in the back? But she fit in perfect. We changed some of the choreography around, and it ended up, I think, being a pretty good show.
Wow, look at that professionalism stepping on in.
And I would also like to make a comment that's kind of off the cuff, but I'm not off the cuff. That's not right. But anyway, the MC of the event, I loved her.
Yeah.
I just
That's my girlfriend, Nika Williams. She's a great comedian. Nika Williams. You have to look her up. She's awesome.
I loved her right before I was about to go on I'm Waiting, and I performed with my best friend. And she said, oh, he's coming on, and I heard he's really cute and good looking, and I need a boo. Or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So, and she said, and I was like, oh, I like her. I was like, you just gave me the best intro I've ever heard in my life.
Scheana, what did she say before you went on? This girl has her shit together or something?
Yeah. I'm like, no, I don't. Why are you giving me that much credit right now? I don't know what I'm doing.
That was amazing.
Nika Williams, we love you.
Nika Williams. What, can you follow her on Twitter anywhere?
Yeah, Nika, I believe it's Nika Williams. She's going to kill me if it's not, but I believe it is. If you just look her up, though, Nika Williams, she's a great comedian all around Hollywood, and you will find her, Nika Williams.
Cool. And then we head over to back in the restaurant, and Jax is hitting on some Brazilian women who oddly, like, interlink arms and drink the champagne together. I was like, what? I was like, y'all are getting married? Like, what is this?
Wait, I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the episode was when Laura Lee confronted Jax about the women. He's like, oh, you know, they were speaking Spanish, a little bit of the Espanol, a little hola. And I'm like, they're Brazilian. They speak Portuguese. Did anyone catch that?
I didn't, but I'm glad you did.
And they were speaking in English, and you were flirting with them. So when she sees the episode, you're going to look like a douchebag.
And then, of course, we're really introduced to Laura Lee, which we were introduced last week, I believe, where Scheana was like, her voice is annoying.
I mean, it's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like, just be quiet.
I said this, speaking of Britney Spears, it's like Britney Spears meets Kristen Chenoweth. Google both. I wonder if you could put them together. Find it on YouTube, but like maybe like played two videos at the same time, and that's what her voice sounds like.
I wrote down the exact same thing, that she sounds like Britney Spears, especially when she's like, can you please just let me talk?
Yes.
That part.
And then of course Peter's like, there's some interesting new developments going on, and I was like, Peter, I love you. Like, why you are always in the mix, and I love it. Like, you just like, he loves just being like in the group and like saying things, and I just think he's cute, but whatever. I'm just gonna keep saying it.
Man, I love Peter.
And Peter breaks it that Stassi knows that Laura Lee and Jax have been hooking up, and of course we're gonna get Hurricane Stassi coming through in a minute. Eye of the storm coming right over Sir Lounge, right there. And Jax says that it's the best sex that he's ever had with Laura Lee. Ooh, Miss Stassi.
Crazy sex. It's probably crazy. That's why it's so good. You know?
I mean, she also reveals in that conversation about the Brazilian woman that she is a former meth addict.
Yeah.
That,
be proud.
Out of all the drugs, I think that might be one of the craziest formulas of drugs that I've ever been able to know. I don't know them personally, but
that's what I hear. I hear that
like,
meth is the worst.
It's like battery acid, like Clorox, like crazy stuff. I don't know. I'm like,
have you seen those pictures online of people?
Yeah.
Like,
it's really
gross.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Her skin looks very well.
Yeah, her skin is great.
Meth addict, yeah. Maybe I should get on meth to get her meth. I don't think so. It was a joke. I do have a comment, though. It's like, everyone's like, Laura Lee is so fragile. Or maybe not everyone, but I think Lisa said it. I don't think that she's I mean, obviously I don't know the girl, but I think her voice makes us think that she's fragile, but she was on meth and like has all this like hot sex. Like, she's not this fragile, innocent girl that like, you know.
She just sounds like a little kid.
Yeah, so everyone's like, oh no, like, you know, handle her with kid gloves, but I think it's just her voice that's making us think that.
How old is she in real life?
I think like 25, 26. I'm not sure,
I was like, she's probably like 28 looking like a 14-year-old. Like, she looks so young on the show.
Yeah, she does. She does. I will say, no one makes me nervous, but she makes me a little nervous. If you're around her long enough, you will feel a little uncomfortable.
She makes me nervous through the TV.
Yeah. But I think she is a sweet girl, though. I do think she's a sweet girl. I don't think she's as terrible as she sometimes comes off, but she is a little unstable.
And then what I liked is that Laura Lee called Stassi, or claimed that she called Stassi to say that she and Jax are in a relationship, and I mean, I think that's nice, because Stassi didn't, you know, obviously didn't have that same thing with Frank. Like, she didn't call Jax and was like, oh, we're dating. Like, he heard through the grapevine. And Laura Lee just wanted to, I feel like, squash the fire before it started.
Well, if anything, it should have been Frank then who called Jax and was like, hey, dude, I think we're going to start dating. You know what I mean, to match up. But I mean, this is kind of jumping ahead, and Scheana, you said in the episode, like, she should have known what she was getting herself into.
Totally. I mean, even if I was the most single girl of all singles, like, I would have never gone that route for numerous reasons. He's a douchebag, A. But B, Stassi, like, you really need another reason to piss her off.
But even dating, like, me dating Scheana, you sign up for that, like, dating anyone that works at SIR. Because you not only date her, you date everyone else. Like, you just, I'm...
One big happy family.
That's what it is. It's dysfunctional, like, I think Thomas
like a
said,
regular
everyone,
family.
Yeah, it's
totally.
a big family, so even when I go in there and I deal with Kristen, Katie, Tom, Jax, Stassi, and then I go home with her. Like,
and then we talk about all of them.
So we go home, that's our conversation over dinner. It's like, so, how was Katie today? How was Kristen? It's like, how was Tom? It's like, it's
exhausting.
Yeah. That's cool, though, that I like that it's a familial bond. You can really see that through I think you can really see the chemistry between all of you.
That was the coolest thing about filming the show is all of us were friends going into it. It wasn't like we were cast in a show and all just placed together and got to know each other. We had been friends for years, whether it was a good friendship or a bad one, but
at least known each other.
Yeah.
And I think the Hollywood Reporter, whenever they did the first review of the first episode, I think that's the one thing they comment on liking the best is that all of you knew each other before instead of being like forced into this situation and being like, okay, get along or fight, you decide.
Right.
I think it's cool. It's like the hills in Laguna Beach, which I'm sure you get lots of comparisons to, but
Totes.
Yeah.
it just happens. And then Peter, this question came up. Peter assigned Stassi, I'm guessing, to a bad section of the restaurant, and that's why she calls him a douchebag and like is really pissed off.
Well, Stassi always has, I think it's 1 to 6 or whatever, and that night Laura Lee was given that section, and he put her in a worse section, but it doesn't matter because they pull tips, so who cares what section you're in when you're pulling tips? You're all making the same amount of money.
Does that mean that she's closer to one of the bars? Like,
I think so.
Closer to Jack's, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
I try and stay in the lounge. That restaurant confuses me.
So you guys are still pooling tips? That decision was never overturned?
No, they didn't want to listen to me, so.
Oh, yeah, that was the worst idea that anyone's ever come up with.
Totally.
And then Lisa, of course, comes in the restaurant and confronts Jax, and she's like, so I've heard that you are shagging. It sounds so much better. It sounds so much better than sleeping with, shagging. Laura Lee. And she, this funny line, she says, I couldn't believe he had time to pull his trousers up after coming back from Vegas and then being upset and then going to Laura Lee. I was like, Lisa, we can always count on you for some good one-liners. I like it.
He was so upset.
Yeah.
And he was like at her house, like, oh, I'm about to cry. And then the next second, he's like with this new chick. So.
And then Peter, of course, calls Stassi out because she's like, can I get cut? I want to go home. And I mean, it seemed like she had been there for maybe like 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not how restaurants work. You wait till the end of the night when no one's there. So.
Yeah.
And then Peter said, just leave it alone. Jax complained about you hooking up with Frank. That's not an actual reaction. I mean, he's doing the exact same thing that you're doing. Homeboy makes a good point, and I love you, Peter. I'm just going to plug the show about Peter the entire time.
No,
You should
Peter was
count
great.
how many times you've said Peter tonight for real.
Drink at home if you're, because I know some of y'all are up late, so just keep drinking. You're up late anyway. So. Yeah, exactly.
Pass that over.
But what do you think about
Well, I
Peter's
love that
calling
Peter did
out?
that because, again, kind of like Scheana said, I'm going to be quoting you all night, but she finally needed to be put in her place. And I don't understand how a restaurant like that can be run if people somehow always get to take off at the same time to go to concerts or are able to leave their shift after 10 minutes, It's just so irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that would be terms for termination if someone just, like, wanted to be off. Like, just be like, can you let me go? Then why are you here?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're all really replaceable since that's what Lisa says at the
And also, she
staff
was
meeting.
just suspended.
Yeah. So she should be, like, ready and willing and able to pay those bills.
She said it was slow. I don't know. Was it slow
Yeah,
that
but
night?
Peter said they had 50
Can you remember that?
50 reservations.
Well, he said 50
Yeah.
reservations,
But
which
50's not a lot
that's
at
not a
all.
lot. That
Yeah.
means 50 people are coming in. That could be 5 reservations of 10.
Yeah.
It wasn't like 50 individual
Okay.
parties of reservations.
Well, I like how
so.
he said it. He made it sound very
He
dramatic.
did.
Peter. All right, then we go to Kristen and Tom's party, and Kristen says, so the upside of not inviting Stassi to my party is that there will be no drama. And I'm like, this goes back to me comparing Kristen to Gretchen Wieners. You can't sit with us. Remember that comment? There's the Mean Girls reference. That's amazing. I love that reference, and I love that each of them has their own characters. Like Katie is Karen, and I think you might be Katie Heron.
Yeah.
So good for you. And then Tina, you of course say that you were like, I gave the Roxy $2,500 to hold this place. If people don't come, like, for real, no more fun, Tina. I was like, I don't think I want to cross Tina.
You know what? Watching that, I was like, ooh, I'm serious. I didn't know that I can appear that serious.
It's passion.
It was passion, and I was a nervous wreck. $2,500 is a big deal.
Yeah.
When you're a waitress. And, yeah, I really needed people to come, and I was scared. I mean, that at $10 a head, that means at least 250 people need to come. So, yeah, I was nervous. I was on Scheana all the time, like, please invite people, please. But
we had a lot of people. I mean, we had a full house.
It looked really full.
Yeah.
It was.
Like, packed all the way to the back in those booths.
I can't explain the feeling when I pulled up and I saw people lined up outside. I was like,
Your
oh
name
my.
up there.
My name up there, people lined up outside. It was a dream come true. It was so great. It was so great.
Oh. And we have to like squash that with drama, talking about drama. I'm sorry. And then Tina, you're filled in with all the Vegas drama. Did you not hear anything?
Not know. I live in some bubble, which is the song that you're going to play in a second. But anyway, I live in a bubble where I don't know about all this drama. And so I was in shock when I heard about everything that was going on in Vegas. It's crazy. It doesn't seem real half the time.
It is surreal.
It is. I'm like, no, that didn't really happen. Come on. Yeah.
Like, grown people don't behave that way.
And that's why people don't believe our show is actually real. They're like, oh, it's scripted. People aren't that crazy. I'm like, no, they're that crazy. That's why Tina and I usually aren't involved in those situations.
It's true.
But I think it's also because y'all get that escape going to Villa Blanca as well.
Definitely. I will never leave that place. I mean, unless I'm super rich.
When I go to Villa Blanca and relax and have a beer or a glass of wine, then when I go to search, it's like, whoa, what's going on? Who's fighting? Who's fighting?
It's like your Four Loko over there.
It's water, Four Loko. That's Villa Blanca. That's Sir. Like, it's just crazy.
And I think this was the most disturbing part of the episode for me was the text situation that Stassi listening to Laura Lee. I was like, okay, here we go. So I have written them down for all of you.
Oh, no way.
I was
Here we go.
dying that day.
Stassi sends to Laura Lee. You're effing pathetic. You have low self-esteem. You meant nothing to anyone till I talked to you, Regina George. No one liked you before except for me. Now everyone hates you and thinks you are disgusting.
Regina George.
Regina George. And then she goes on to say, everyone has been telling me that you are oddly obsessed with me, and now I know that it's true. And then she goes on to call her a freak. I was like,
wait a minute.
That was the best part about it, though.
I'm like,
that bitch, freak.
I mean, she was like going hard on her through all these texts, and at the very end, freak. And I was like, okay, all right. I'm like, throw my papers up. Like, we can go home now for that damn comment. 7th grade. There must be like 7th grade art class when people are like, ooh, the freak in the back drawing on, it's just weird. I'm like, but Stassi was mad, so, I mean, validity. There's a little bit of validity to it, I guess. But, Scheana, you were like, you were glad the attention is off of you.
Finally. I mean, she's been giving me a hard time, and now there's a new target, which was great. And honestly, dealing with Stassi, that was her being nice. She could have slashed her tires. She could have went crazy, but she just harassed her via text, and I thought that was nice.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
I mean, I think she needs to know her role.
Who?
Like,
Laura Lee?
Laura Lee. And Jax mentions, like, she's not a jump off, but not a jump off, excuse me, a rebound.
Back up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that was another show. Jax says she's not a rebound, but by definition, she is. And I feel like with that, you need to kind of know your role and expect that there might be some drama. And especially when you're dealing with someone like Stassi, don't play the victim when you're not totally innocent. And it seems like her call that you mentioned earlier, like that may have been nice, but at the same time, now you're kind of rubbing it in her face, being like, I am so happy with him. And just like they were making out at the party.
I'm
like,
loving
Tina,
every minute of it.
Yeah,
I got that down.
yeah, like get a room. I didn't like that party makeout scene. That was whack. What Tina?
So annoying.
It was a bit much, and I'm all for love, and I'm cool with PDA too. I am, but it's a lot. They're a lot.
Yeah, and it was
Like,
too much too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
It was just like
Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all hanging out, having a good time, and they're kind of doing their thing. And we all know, even Jax knows that it was a rebound. And I feel like she jumped into it so fast and thought of it way more than a rebound. So then she's all into it, and we don't know, and it was just.
I think
just awkward.
I think that
Awkward.
Frank and Laura in both the situations thought that it was going to be this serious relationship. Whenever, I mean, clearly you can see that it's not. You know, neither one of them is going to last. But it was just strange that they would think that and be like all goo-goo-eyed, and then the other two would just be like talking about the other two, talking about Stassi and Jax. You know, like they were just talking about each other, which clearly means that they're not over it. Well, so why even consider yourself that it's going to be some serious relationship?
I feel like at the party, Jax looked a little bit uncomfortable. Like he was like, "Yeah, it's been a really good morning."
I'm like, what'd that mean?
Yeah. That means
I don't know. I felt uncomfortable for him and everyone involved.
Like my good morning is McDonald's breakfast. Like, so like I don't know if I can wake up for it, but it's like I don't know what he's saying, you know.
I'm thinking they got it popping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
For
yeah.
sure.
They might not have gone all the way, but maybe like a little like downstairs section. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Get your life. Then we head over to the staff meeting, which I think is, you know, the pinnacle of the entire episode.
Hilarious.
And I'm like, it's like the Jets versus the Sharks, and like it's super divided with like Team Stassi and then Team everyone else, then Scheana in the middle.
I felt like I was watching a ping pong tournament. It was like.
I know. I wanted some like snaps, like. Yeah, I just wanted that for a second. And then Lisa makes a point. If you're all sleeping together, what am I going to do? Fire the whole company? And I'm like, I know most restaurants and most places of business have a policy about people sleeping with each other or dating, or intermingling, or stuff like that. But there's honestly no way to stop it. So, I mean, she couldn't fire the whole, you know, she can't fire everybody, because that means you got to train more people. And I'm thinking logically about this. And also, you got to put more people on the show. So.
And then those new people are going to start sleeping with each other. So then you're.
It's a cycle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like
I'm curious.
rabbits.
I'm like, do they use condoms? I'm really curious. I'm wondering. I want to know if everybody is just absorbing everybody's DNA. I'm really curious about
There
that.
was a part we saw on a preview, and Laura Lee's like, "I'm sorry, I've been fucking you every night without a condom." It was like, whoa, what? Yeah.
No.
I just get a reckless vibe from her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is she starting on meth again? After this
That shit crazy.
I hope not.
Oh God, let's hope not. But Jax, I think Jax is a man, because after that, like, you know, Lisa's like confronting, saying, what happened with this fight and why did you show up? Jax was like, he owned up like a man, and he was like, I shouldn't have shown up. I shouldn't have run my mouth. It's all my fault. So at least he owned it. I mean, that's not taking it back or whatever, or saying that it's okay, but at least he owned it and said that it was his responsibility. He was responsible for causing the whole thing. And then I thought it was really funny that Stassi doesn't remember pulling Katie's hair.
How convenient.
And this is a question I want to pose to all of you. What exactly qualifies one as a ghetto bitch? I'm like, is that a racist comment?
I will say, I guess I'm one that should speak on this maybe, but you know, it's weird. Every time I hear it, there's a little cringe in the back of my neck, and I don't know why. When some of my friends watch it, they get very upset. They're like, this is racist. And so it goes back and forth. I don't feel like they meant it to be racist.
No.
Because then I could say, well, does ghetto mean black? Just because something is ghetto, why does that have to be black? But in rap music and different things, ghetto is black in a way.
It's associated with that.
It's associated. So it can go either way, but I know they weren't deliberately trying to be racist or anything like that, so I'm going to say no, but I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Anybody, like, have an opinion about that? It just turned me off. Like, I just don't like, you know, any kind of like racial thing. So it just, I don't know, it just turned me off. I'm like, there's better terminology. Just be like, you're a psycho bitch. Like, don't be, you're a ghetto bitch. Like, what does that mean?
Trashy bitch.
Yeah.
Trashy, that's good, because anyone race, any white, black, Latino, anyone can, like, it's not ghetto, it's just like anyone can be ghetto.
Yeah.
Any race, so it's like more be like trashy or psycho.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she's ghetto though. Like when I think of Stassi, ghetto isn't the first adjective that comes to mind. Far from it.
Yeah.
I think she was just, I mean, I didn't want to say this last week when they were here, but every time I hear her say, every time I hear Tom call her a bitch, like it literally like, I cringe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that Stassi was justified in, like, snapping. Because if someone's boyfriend called me a bitch, I would go off. Like, look at how angry I'm getting right now. No, I mean, if that makes her a ghetto bitch, then she needs to own it. Because I don't think a man should call a female a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit out of line, but then again, he was defending his friend, and it probably, I mean, there's like probably a lot of build-up. I mean, I'm not justifying calling a girl a bitch. I don't think that's okay, but I don't know. Maybe
and then
there's
he's
like
like,
a
you
situation.
heard me. Oh.
Yeah, but I feel like when Tom was here last week, he was even disappointed in himself for reacting that way. So I don't, and I think in the heat of the moment, maybe she had it coming, but yeah, totally.
And then we get to Laura Lee, like, going on and on about, you know, I covered your shift and all this stuff. And then after she sits down, Lisa, and this should be a Bravo tagline, boom. I was like, I wish that she had a microphone to be like.
Exactly. It was great.
What?
It was great.
I hope they have a Bravo shirt with that. It says, like, boom.
Boom.
It was pretty awesome.
And then Stassi, of course, is patronizing, like, well, I hope you're happy with him. I hope you are. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, don't. And then I'm glad that Lisa was like, don't patronize them for their relationship.
Can I just say something on a production standpoint? I love the way this was shot because it was so dramatic.
Yeah.
My goodness. It was like in Stassi's face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can see like every frown, like every, oh my goodness.
It was great.
It was really intense, so dramatic.
And just a little history note, ghetto originated in Italy, just so you know, the ghettos of Italy. So ghetto actually comes from like an Italian word or something like that.
So Shay's ghetto.
Nice.
Oh, ghetto, yeah.
You're the ghetto one.
That's where my family comes from.
I have a question about the staff meeting. A question/comment. Okay. I don't know if this was the editing, which you guys can let us know, but it seemed like the staff meeting turned into something it shouldn't have been. I don't know that those conversations that they were having, like, you told me 2 weeks ago that you and Jax's relationship was already over. Like, I don't know if that conversation had anything to do with the restaurant directly. Like, I get Lisa saying, like, y'all need to stop sleeping together, but I think it's maybe just made everyone pissed off at the start of their shift. So was that just the stuff they edited out of what happened?
I think
or
Laura
it was
Lee's just crazy, and she just wanted to just let everything out that was bothering her, because it was almost like a therapy session / meeting. And Lisa said, you know, whatever you have to say, put it all out there. This is why we're here. So it was a little bit of both. It was Lisa was disappointed with us, and she wanted to hear our side of the story at the same time.
And I think too with that, that's why the restaurant working at Sir is different than working at a different restaurant, because sitting down and it's like a crazy family. It's a big family and it's dysfunctional. So that's why staff meetings are that way, while other restaurants are different.
I have a question about the staff meeting too, and I don't know if this is like to follow up with what you said about the editing, but I want to know why none of the guys spoke. Because we didn't hear one thing from Jax, we didn't hear one thing from Tom. I wanted to hear at least Jax defending himself, or standing up for himself, because right now he has 2 girls eating at him.
I think he just didn't know what to say. I don't even remember him really saying anything. I think what was going through his mind was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into with this crazy bitch? I mean, if you looked at him and Tom Sandoval's face, they're just kind of like, what do you say when she is just like unloading everything?
When you say crazy bitch, who are you referring to?
Laura Lee.
Okay.
She does.
Multiple.
Yeah. Plus, and
How to specify.
Plus, guys don't speak at Sir. It's like the girls are just so. Yeah, like that. It's like I would rather just not say anything and let you guys deal with it. And
It's like, just let the thunderstorm happen and eventually we'll peter out. Peter, there it is. There it is.
And then Kristen jumped in to defend Laura Lee, and it was.
I mean, I think they're all doing everything they can to make Stassi look as bad as possible. I mean, she doesn't need any help in the situation, but Kristen was just like getting in there because she was mad at Stassi.
Do you think that their intentions were to get Stassi fired, or do you think they were just pissed?
I think they were just pissed. Stassi is too close of a friend of Pandora and Lisa that, I mean, she would have to steal all the money in the drawer and like break bottles to get fired. So I don't think that was their goal, because they know that wouldn't happen. Right. Stassi would really have to mess up, not just outside of work, but at work in order to get fired. Our personal lives obviously come into play because of the show, but none of that would affect getting fired.
That's season 2.
Maybe.
You never know. And then, of course, they cut to this awesome. I love the little cutaways, especially in Housewives, and then in this show too, that of Stassi's violent metaphors.
That was amazing.
I was like, is this is the excuse that people shouldn't be allowed to play violent video games and watch violent stuff while they're growing up because they get these crazy thoughts in their head. I think my favorite one though, and this is really disturbing, but was the one where she was like, I want to cut him up and then put him in the walls. I was like, who comes up with that? Like, that's crazy.
Wait, my favorite part about that was that someone at that table was like, they came here for your birthday.
Yeah.
Sure, that's true.
It's like,
I'm scared of Stassi. When she comes on, I'm gonna hide because I just say what I think about her, and so now if she comes on, I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry.
But I feel like she's really honest.
She's not that bad.
Like she knows, and I think she knows like what she said, and I think she owns it, especially because I've on the different shows. So we'll talk about those in a little bit.
I think her relationship with Jax too kind of brought out the crazy in her even more. So maybe that's why it was portrayed that way.
Well, it's good to hear that because that would be my question for her. Like, are you actually like that? It would be my question for her. So that's good to know.
We'll ask her.
I think and we saw with her breakdown outside of the club, I think most people that kind of act crazy and act really tough genuinely have like a softer side.
Definitely.
That they're
There's a lot of hurt.
mask,
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of hurt behind that.
I don't think she'd really cut up someone and put them in the wall. Hopefully not.
Let's hope not.
we'll just keep daggers out of her hand.
Yeah, no daggers. That's like the hot word of the moment besides Peter.
I was waiting for that.
And then of course we go to Scheana's rehearsal, and she is learning those dance moves, flipping that hair, popping that booty. And then I liked the choreographer a lot. She was really cute.
Yeah,
Kate.
that's my old roommate actually. She's amazing.
She's really cute.
We worked with her at Villa Blanca, and then she lived with me for a while.
I love that
She's
she was
awesome.
like, when you were like, oh, can I just crawl across the ground? She's like, you can crawl, but let's keep it classy. And I was like, that is funny. And then, of course, we go to Jen and Haley. Is Haley she's the hostess, correct, at the front of the restaurant? I'm like, every time Lisa's coming and talk to her, it feels like she's always not doing her job that well or something. And then I love that they're like Stassi's new little lackeys. Like Kristen and Katie, they have opinions. I feel like these two girls might not. That's just my opinion, allegedly. And then Scheana, I want to know what you felt because they were dogging you, or Stassi, I should say. Stassi was dogging you about being like Brittany, saying that you were going to be like the very bottom, like low point of Brittany, like times 10.
She
I was
also
like, okay.
said, like no one's done backup dancers since 1999. Did you watch Super Bowl? Did you see Beyonce? What did she have? Backup dancers. That's what people still do. I mean, maybe it like started then, but
that's never gone out of style.
Exactly.
I'm like, check out every music video. About? Like, oh my word, that kind of annoyed me. I was like, I roll. But how did you feel about that, though?
That was the one thing that did annoy me, because I'm like, people still do that all the time. Do you not watch television? But at the same time, I mean, any insults I get via Stassi or Twitter or anything, I laugh at. You have to have thick skin, and you just have to be able to laugh at it, because if I let every single insult affect me, I would just cry and, like, live in a box, so.
That's the best way to handle it.
Yeah.
Especially with music, it's such a tough industry.
So
it's like, you gotta, like, just know it's your passion and just follow it and just keep going.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
It's true. And everyone has different preferences. Like, you can have diehard fans for your music and people that absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
Any genre has that.
I think it's best. I think a lot of people are really successful whenever they are polarized people, when people really love them or really hate them. I think that's really, I think that's successful. I mean, look at The View. There's a panel of 5 people, and each one of those people you might love or you might completely hate, and it still works.
They were really scary to be on that show. Holy.
We're gonna get there. Yeah. We're gonna get there.
So then, story time.
So then we head to the show, and this is my favorite part. I just think it was cool seeing that moment. I'm glad that there's that moment on camera where this is your first thing. I think that's really cool. Because you could tell that it was just like pure adrenaline going through there. And I might not add that red light backstage when you were getting ready, I was like, you look really, really hot. And not that you don't always, but that I was just like, I'm kind of turning to the other team for a second. Sorry.
Watch out, Peter.
All right.
Drink.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, yeah, Ford Loco, get it. And then I love that Peter called out from somebody was like, who's having fun? He was like, I'm having fun. I was like, this is amazing. This is why I love you. And then, Scheana, you walk on stage, and I wrote this down, like you said earlier. I think that maybe you should join the Pussycat Dolls.
Yeah.
That would be fun. I don't know if I have the stamina to do it because just doing that one 3-minute, 48-second song, after I was like, it was so it was overwhelming, but it was so much fun. But if I ever do this again and do have more songs, I need like a 5-minute break to catch my breath before I do the second
You're
song.
like, hold up.
Yeah, BRB.
Well, you were awesome.
Thank you.
And you look great, and so excited for you.
Thanks.
And then I love that Jax was like, she's hot.
Yeah.
I tweeted,
I saw that.
Were you talking about me, Jackie, or Ariana?
And then Stassi, on the other hand, was like, hooker.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, all right. But she eats her words. And I'm like, this girl never admits she's wrong.
She also had made a comment to me off camera, but recently, and she was like, the next show, I want to be one of your backup dancers. I'm like, oh, so you do want to be a little hooker with me.
Yes. That's amazing. And then, so we go into the point where Stassi and you actually have a moment where you kind of reconcile, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
After that, I mean, how are we going to go back to hating each other? You know, we had just such like a little intimate moment with the two of us, and we hugged it out, and she's crying, and I was crying. I mean, I was trying to leave the tears in my eyes because that's so much makeup on. I didn't want to mess up for her. But I was just like, let's go in, let's have a drink. Like, we were there for Tina. That was the whole point of the entire show. It was about Tina. So, you know, leave the drama. Let's go have a drink. Let's have fun. And then we ended up hanging out the rest of the night, and it was like, so are we friends now? Like.
And then the moment where you're like, I bought a shot, but she made me pay for it. I was like, that's really funny. I was like, that maybe should be a quote too.
She just kind of walked away after. I was like, I got this. No worries.
And then Tina, we see your show, and I get this like India Ari like meets Khalees meets things like I feel like that's what I got from that little moment they showed of yours. I wish they would have shown more.
I know.
Me too.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, me too.
She's this girl's absolutely amazing.
Well, thank
I was checking out some of your YouTube videos after Monday's episode, and you're great.
Oh, thank you.
Great,
Thank you
like
so much.
genuinely great.
Thank you. I'm going to put some of the clips from the show up too next on YouTube.
Good.
But I think there is a little Khalees in there and a little spirituality mixed with the Indiari. Yeah, totally. So, yay, I'm glad. I'm glad you just got to see a little bit. I wish it would have been more, but at least you got to see a little bit. You know, it's a dream come true to just have a little bit of my music up there showcased. So,
I mean, because that'll make people want to explore it even more. Like, I mean, I did, so I don't see why other viewers wouldn't as well.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll get you next time, babe.
Oh, next time, yeah, for sure.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. His was so much fun. So much fun. His song that he did, it was really, really good too.
How would you describe? Also, we'll just that's our recap of the episode. So we're just gonna move it into some questions for y'all. So,
great.
Mike, I want to start off with you. What influences your music? Tell everybody at home.
My music, I'm influenced. My biggest influence is I love hip hop music. I love it, especially 90s hip hop. Like my older brother's 12 years older than me, so I was listening to NWA when I was in like kindergarten and stuff. So, but I love everything. I've done everything, and we were talking about this the other day because people ask me like, how would you describe your music? And she came up with this, and she says it's like a guy version of Kesha.
That's awesome.
So it's like it's like hip hop ish and it's very poppy and catchy music, and that's
it's like a little like Blink-182 meets 303, kind of like new also.
Nice.
So it's a mix in the house.
This is a slow song.
So this is like, oh jeez. This is a little on the slower side. I actually played this song for her.
I fell in love with him after he played this for me.
We were in her room, and I had the piano, and I started playing this, and
I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. You're not going to get rid of me if you do it.
So I did it.
Yeah.
I've been stuck with her ever since.
And while you're speaking over the music, I want to say, how did your relationship start?
Well, we went to high school together, so I've known her for 12 years.
Something like that.
12, 13 years. She was 2 grades above me.
Oh, older woman.
Ooh, liking those older women.
I told you, I do. And once she graduated, I didn't talk to her for like 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years, and then I was in Vegas with a bunch of my good friends. She was in Vegas with her friends. we had a great night together, drove home together, and we've been together ever since.
Aww.
So, yeah.
This moment is just perfect because this like song. It's so cute. Oh, then I want to get some of our fan tweets out of the way because they will want to be hearing this. Nicole Green tweeted, Scheana, is there an album in the future?
You know, I'm starting with singles right now. I'm just going to get through one song at a time. It takes me a lot longer to record one song than it does for someone as amazing as Tina. So I'm just going to start with, I'm working on my next single right now, which second season, fingers crossed, you will see. But I'm going to see if maybe I'll do enough singles to build an album.
And Miss Tina, can we find your music anywhere on
Definitely,
iTunes?
all over iTunes. I just released a second album, and it's the unedited, unmixed version. Oh,
here we go, segue. Oh,
Dance
yeah.
party. I like it.
This is Love 33 FM. This is, I've tuned in, and it's about tuning into love and just dancing, and it's just high energy. And I just see everyone in the club just going crazy, and the lights going.
This is the song that was on the episode.
Yes, it was. It was, yeah. So this one is on iTunes. I just released it, and this is my second album, but my first album is also on iTunes too. You have to hear both because they're totally different. I love all genres of music. That's why I love Scheana's performance. I love Michael's performance because I just love music. If you go for it, I love it. I love it. I wish you could have seen her in person. You're going to have to go and see her one time when she performs because I'm always in the very front because when she starts spinning her head and doing it's just so much fun. She's great. She's great.
It was a great night.
It was a great night.
Yeah.
Great energy. It was, well, except for all the fighting and crying and nonsense too, but it was a great night.
It ended up being a unifying thing, I feel like, overall.
Yeah.
And I want to get into something a little bit serious. Mike, how have you handled all the press that your love has received in the past and present?
You know, it's
Sorry, that wasn't clean segue, but I just want to get into it.
you know, it's like it's a roller coaster. It has its like good days and bad days. The one thing that when we first started dating, she told me like little things, and I never asked questions. We kind of just sat down one night, and she told me everything about her.
Too much.
And that's the only thing. It was too much, so, and I found out, and I was like, we'd be watching TV. I'm like, that's the guy. I'd be like this and that, but you know what? I didn't care about that because, like, I really care about her like so much, and so we're just very honest from day one, and took it very slow. And I don't care about anything.
Oh, here comes your music again. This is perfect.
Cool. This is amazing.
The sound guy is amazing.
Thank you, Martin.
No, but you know, it's up and down. But especially now, it's like we found a way to deal with it because our life is our life. Not whatever anyone else says or does. It's like, cool. But that's just us, right?
That's unconditional love right there.
I think that's so nice. I think a lot of men out there need to learn from you.
Yeah.
Totally.
I said this when Scheana was first, and I was like, it takes a true man to accept the past and know that that's the past. Like, that doesn't have to be carried over and become a thing. Like, it can just be experience.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
cool.
not good at it. I'm not good at that. When I know that you did this, and that in the past, it gets in my head. I think about it. So I commend you for good for you.
And it's like I found the girl like of my dreams. Like,
oh
she
my
really
God.
Is. So it's like I don't care about that stuff or whatever.
You guys are so cute together.
I love that.
And you guys are such a good couple, especially compared to everyone else on the show. There's so many awful couples on this show, and you guys are really cute together. So good job.
And last week, when the other cast and crew were on, we actually asked them who they thought would be like the first ones to get married, and they said you guys.
So
it's obvious why they did. Look at this.
we got this question. Are there any wedding plans in the future?
Maybe.
Yes.
You gotta ask him that question.
Yes.
I will say yes. Yeah.
I'm literally gonna cry.
I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, I honestly can't.
I said I gotta get married before I'm 30, and I'm gonna be 28, so needs to get on that.
I do, but no, I do. And
Otherwise, I don't have that much time to find someone else. So I'm kidding.
No, but we're extremely happy together, and
I'm good. I love you guys.
I know. I love this. This is cute. This is a really good show, you guys. I like it. So, Tina, I wanted to say, would you ever think about doing a singing reality competition series?
Yes. Actually, what was it? The X Factor. I got up, I got dressed, but I didn't go. I got so scared. I suffer from some anxiety when it comes to competition.
Oh, here comes the music.
Turn it up.
Yes.
They both should try out for X Factor this year. You guys should do it together.
Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
gosh.
This is if you sexy and you know it. Just stay right there and just give it to him. Give it to him. Stay right there. Give it to him. Stay right there. Give it to him. This is one of my favorites right here.
Yes.
Michael Reason, shout out to you. He was the producer of it. He's fantastic. Oh my gosh. If this doesn't make you dance, then something's wrong. If this is the best song ever. When it's up and the bass is going, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Stay right there.
Yes.
Stay right there. Give it to him. Stay right there. Give it to him.
I feel like we need some hand claps.
Tina, I kind of want you around me all the time.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. But yes, I would love to do a competition. I'm so close to it. I think I might finally have the courage to just do it.
I think you should. Why
You
not?
guys should both go together.
We should. We should make each other go.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, okay.
We might have some X Factor contestants right here on our show.
Yeah.
I like it.
If we went together, I would do it because I get nervous.
Me too. Yeah, that's what we should do. Scheana, you too. All of us.
No, I'm good.
And Tina, I was doing a little research on you, and I saw that you were in Sex and the City.
Oh, that was years ago. It was like a little clip. Gosh, what was the episode? I think it was when she was having her book signing. When, Carrie Bradshaw was having a book signing, and I'm at the bar, and I might say hi. I say, it's so quick.
Anything with Sex and the City, I'm like, that's amazing. Amazing, like freaking out. So good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask you to this. Scheana, how do you feel about getting contacted about all of the Brandy and Leanne drama that's going on?
I'm over it. I'm done. Like, I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's just like there's a dead horse laying in front of me, and everyone just wants to keep beating it. And I'm just like, leave it alone. It's in the past. I mean, going on 7 years ago now. I'm sick of talking about it. I think that I've proved myself enough on this show. I've sat her down. I apologized. I've moved past it. I think she's moved past it, and just it's done. It's a dead topic.
And what I'm glad for this show for you as well is that you've become your own person, like a fully realized person in the public opinion, not just like that girl.
I've gotten a lot of tweets that are like, you know, I used to hate you, but now I've grown to love you. And that means a lot too, because that does show that my character has grown during the show, and it's me. Like, I'm not playing a character, it's just, it's me. So the fact that people are liking me more that maybe didn't before is good.
I think that's awesome.
Thanks.
You ladies have any questions?
I have a question. Were any of you worried about doing this show? Because I know there's been a lot of issues where people say that if you're a reality star, you'll never be a star for what, like to be a singer or a musician or an actor. Was that something that you were worried about?
For me, it definitely was. I said no right off the bat. And then Lisa was like, sit down, we're going to talk about this. And after hearing the concept of the show and how it is a career-driven show, you're showing us working hard to pay our bills and still achieving our dreams at the same time. And there's no other show I would have done.
And I think that too, because it's compared to the Hills a lot. But if you look at the Hills or Laguna Beach, they're all like rich, and then they move. They were young and stuff, and I mean, we just had to pay rent the other day. It's like we're working our asses off to not only have a job, but then, be a part of this. And it shows like everyone has a dream. That's why a lot of people are out in LA and stuff. So I think it's cool.
For me, I initially was like, cool, sounds great. Because I think nowadays so much of TV is reality driven. Yeah. It's the new sitcom. So I was like, yeah, sure. And then once it started to be filmed and I saw some of the craziness, I was like, oh God, what did I do? And how is this going to be? But I still think, regardless, publicity is great, regardless nowadays. Right. Even Stassi, even if it's negative, it's still great. It's publicity. We all know her name.
It's what you do with it as well.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I have a question to follow up with that, Tina, because I forget. I don't know if it was you, Scheana, or the crew that we had last week that said that Tina's so crazy and so much fun, and I wish you saw more of her on it. Do you think that you maybe subconsciously tuned yourself down a little bit because of the cameras, or?
I think there's a whole bunch of stories that happened that I don't know, I don't totally want to share, but I think that there were wild times that I had, but I don't think a lot of, I don't know, actually. I don't even know what to say. I don't think a lot of me got captured. It's true. And then there was a lot of me that got edited out, too. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Bravo TV, I want more Tina, okay?
We got lots of tweets saying that about you.
Yeah.
Lots of people.
Yeah. Thank you. I do, too. I get them all the time, too. Not to mention my mom. Where are you? I want to see you. My mom's about to have a heart attack. Please, Bravo.
She wants to see her baby.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So is that all the questions that anyone has?
Yeah.
All right. So let's move into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I'm hearing some murmurings of maybe a lost aired footage from the show, maybe possibly a reunion. Can we confirm, deny anything?
Keep watching.
Exactly. Keep watching. Lisa's blog on BravoTV.com says, I have never witnessed such vindictive expressions, such aggressive terminologies as when it comes to Stassi's interviews. What on earth is she saying? I know for sure in the years I have employed her, I have been privy to such behavior. She needs to reflect after viewing this and seriously question her judgment in regards to her choice of words.
Ooh, bold.
Ooh.
Woo! Mama Lisa has spoken. Boom!
That is a boom.
And that is a boom right there. Drop the mic right there.
That's a boom.
Lisa revealed on The View this past Friday that the initial reason why they moved to LA is because Pandora wanted to go to Pepperdine University in Malibu. I'm sure that wasn't all, but you know, that's cool that she wanted to like follow her child. And what was it like dealing with the women of The View?
I was so nervous because a couple weeks before, Whoopi Goldberg is on The View making fun of me and Stassi talking like Valley Girls. So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to hate me. They're going to rip me apart. And I'm sitting in the hair and makeup chair. Joy walks in and was like, you girls look great. We're going to have some fun. I was like, oh, thank God. And then I met Tim Hasselbeck, and then I met Elizabeth, and it was so much fun. And then right before we're going out, Whoopi's sitting in, like, the green room because she wasn't in our segment, and she was just like, you girls look gorgeous. She's like, you got this. Have fun with it. I was like, yay. Okay, she doesn't hate me. And then we got pictures with her after, and it was so much fun. It was a crazy experience.
And crossover with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Vanderpump Rules, Camille Grammer alleged on Beverly Hills that Lisa doesn't own Sir. You don't own Sir. And Lisa was like, I do own 51% of it. So, I mean, I think it was just part of their argument, but it was still alleged. That's our little exclusive.
And then Stassi tweeted, were you going to mention that? Stassi's tweet at Lisa?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can.
She said, she goes, oh, Lisa, are you not my boss? Then when you tell me to polish glasses, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
Get out of that work. Stassi said on The View that she wishes she could take back some of the mean things she says, but she admits that she's a mean girl. Glad she owns it. She owns it. Get it?
Yeah.
Good publicity is any kind of publicity. Could be good publicity. Way you fix it. Stassi told Glamour magazine, which y'all all frequented, that Kristen introduced her to Jax in Vegas, and this story is really funny. She said that Jax and her met, but it was a year later that they got together. And she said a whole year later we went to Vegas and he was working. And this is embarrassing, I took a Xanax that night, so I don't remember anything. All I remember is that I woke up the next morning and I was in his bed in his hotel room. He was just so in love, and I was like, what did I say to make you so? And then Jax says, nothing happened. I just put her in her bed. For the first time, I have a little bit of a past, but we had breakfast the next morning and we actually started dating the very next day. Silence. That's all there is.
I don't even know how to respond.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how I guess Stassi has a little bit of a reputation of not remembering her nights.
Relationship starts with Xanax. Always a good one.
Yeah.
So that's it for my news and gossip. We'll move into some predictions now.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think we can officially maybe confirm from the previews that Frank is the one that's fired. We always like to start our predictions off with who's going to be fired. I think it's going to be Frank. And then we see, and I wonder what's going to happen with Jackson Lorley, is she going to give him an STD? Or not. That's my prediction. We'll see. Stay tuned.
Oh my gosh. Poor Laura Lee.
My prediction is that Jackson and Stassi get back together, but I don't think that's a good thing. But I think something will happen, or they'll hook up, or they're drawn together, magnetic.
The heat.
My prediction is that, like Jake, Frank gets fired, and that someone hooks up with Stassi's mom.
Ooh. Mike.
No, I can't do that.
Hall pass.
I was like, what? Yeah. She would be my hall pass.
Okay.
I was just kidding.
Michelle.
I predict that Stassi and Frank break up. Well, like, that's such a boring prediction. I didn't have anything clever to say. You guys took all the good jokes.
Well, I think that is it for us tonight, excuse me. It's today now because it's the morning after Hill. I'm your host, Jake Dupree, and you can find me on Twitter at Jake_Dupree and on Instagram at Jake Dupree.
And I'm Danica Kennedy, DANICA. You can find me at Danica Kennedy on Twitter, Facebook, DanicaKennedy.com. Check me out.
And I'm Kristina Zias. You can find me at Miss Zias. It's MISSZIAS. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Get me.
I am Michelle Renee. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michelle Renee LA.
And where can we find you guys, Mike?
You can find me on Twitter, Mike Shay Music.
Scheana.
At Scheana Marie, everything.
And Tina.
Twitter at Tina McDowelle. iTunes, Tina McDowelle. Etsy earrings, Tina McDowelle. This song that you hear, it was my first song that I produced all myself. This is my production, so I'm very proud of this. Okay, that's it.
What's the name of the song?
I Have to See You.
Yes, we have to see you. Come back next week. Bye.
Perfect. Very good.
I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you. Great.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only, not necessarily
Right?
the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
We had another accident, Shea spilled water.